welcome to BB's Crafty Haven. I am Belinda, and today I got a couple of 4th of July DIYs. This will probably be my first of a couple videos I will do for 4th of July. I really do enjoy doing 4th of July DIYs. Probably July 4th and fall are probably my two favorite things to do as far as DIYing. So I don't know how many 4th of July videos I'll put out, but probably a couple. So I have 3 for you today. They turned out okay. They're not exactly what I expected. Like, what was in my mind is not what came out. So they're okay. They're okay. I'll just leave it at that. So I want to thank you for stopping by. Please remember to like and subscribe. I really would like my channel to grow. What else? I can't think of anything else. Oh well. Oh well. I feel like there was something else I needed to say and I can't think about it. Anyways, thanks again for stopping by. And with that, let's get on with the crafting. And please comment in the comment box below. I'd like to hear from everybody. And I guess that's it. So with that, let's get on with these DIYs. DIY number 1. We're going to start out with one of those wooden squares from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to paint my apple barrel white. Once I get that painted, I am measuring, I think, 4 inches down and 6 inches across. Yeah, I am most positive that's what I did. Um, once I get that marked, once I finish up with that, I'm going to put it aside and I'm going to take these handkerchiefs, red, white, and blue. If you haven't figured out, we're going to make a flag. And I did measure the 4 to 6, but I should have made it bigger because I wanted to, like, hem the edges with some hot glue. I don't know if I show that or not, but, I do just hem it up by using the hot glue. I do all 4 corners, but I really didn't need to do the edge that was closest to the board edge, if that makes any sense. So I only really needed to do the bottom and one of the sides. Um, with the red and white strips, we're gonna make 3 inches wide strips. But even though we're making them 3 wide, we are gonna do the same thing we did with the blue, and we are gonna take hot glue and hem the edges, and they're gonna equal out to about 2 inches wide. And I'm going to do this for all the strips. And again, I just use hot glue and I just fold over the edges just to make a clean edge. Once we get those all hemmed and cut out, we ended up with 3 of the red, 3 of the white, and of course that one blue square. And here I'm trying to show you how I hemmed it, but it's very hard to see on the camera. But you just got those nice clean edges, and I think it looks, I mean, you don't have to do that. But anyways, after that, we're going to bring back our whiteboard and use some Mod Podge. I'm going to place quite a generous amount of Mod Podge onto my board, but I'm only going to do a little section at a time. At first, I'm going to apply that blue square and then each of the stripes. But again, I just kind of take it a little bit at a time and add that each piece on one time. Once I get the blue square on, I'm going to start with my stripes now. And just like I said earlier, I'm just going to add a little Mod Podge at a time. And these will hang over, but we'll just cut off the excess later. So of course I'm going to start with the red stripe. And we're just going to put that on the end and kind of flatten it onto that podge. Okay, once we get the red stripe flattened and laid down, I'm going to put more Mod Podge down and add the white strip. And then just continually adding the strips down the board, red, white, red, white, red, white, until we get the whole board covered. Once I get that completely covered with all those stripes, I am going to take some more Mod Podge and we are going to cover that entire board in Mod Podge and kind of seal in that fabric. Once I get that all done and kind of semi-dried it with my heat gun, I'm going to take this jute string, this red and brown jute string. I think I got the Dollar Tree, but all I did was braid it. And I think I made 5 of them. I'm going to place each of those strips in between each of the stripes on the board and then around the blue square, just using hot glue, and anything that hangs over the edge I will just cut off later. Okay, once I get those all tacked down, and you'll see that here in a minute, and like I said, I do that all the way down between each of the stripes. And this is what it looks like when it's finished. This is what it looks like when it's all outlined. Next, I'm going to take this jute that I got, or this nautical rope I got from Dollar Tree, and we are going to take that and wrap that all the way around our square board, making a border around it. Next, we're going to take this star I got from Dollar Tree and we're going to paint it in my apple barrel. And then I'm going to take my wax by Folk Art and kind of rustic up that star and going all the way around in the middle of that star. Once I get that all finished, I'm going to take this Word America that I got from a package from Hobby Lobby and just use my wood glue and wood glue that right in the middle. And then I'm going to take these little squares. I did paint them white. I got those from Dollar Tree. We're going to put that down and then put the star right on top of it. I do add a third one, but I don't believe I show that on camera. I needed a little bit more ability in the star. So I suggest 3 and not 2. Once we get the hot glue down on those little squares, we're going to place our star in the middle of our flag. I then just made this shoestring bow out of jute. It's a double bow, and we're just going to place some hot glue on that little hole on the top of the star, and that is where we are going to put our little bow. I'm then going to cut off some of the extra tails so it doesn't cover up our sign. I'm then going to um, take my lighter and kind of singe off all those little hairs on that bow, kind of clean that up a little bit. I did re-add the original hang, but I don't show that. But this is what we have. This is all. This is it. So please comment in the box below and let me know what you think. And now we're going to be moving on to DIY number 2. I'm going to take a charger from Dollar Tree and paint it in my black by apple barrel. And then we're going to heavily dry brush the white from apple barrel on top. And then take a sanding block and sand off as much of the white as we can. During this project, I wish I would have used blue instead of black, and you'll see why later on. Once we get that done, we're going to set that aside. And I'm going to bring in this wooden spoon and wooden fork from Dollar Tree. And I'm going to take my box cutter and we're going to cut off the rubber ends on each of those, on the wooden spoon and the wooden fork. And once you get those sliced, they come off really easily. And we don't need those rubber pieces, so I just threw them away. Once we get the rubber ends or rubber handles off of those, I'm going to take my Imperial Red by Folk Art and paint both of those, which I'll show you right here. That's what I use to paint both of them. And then I'm going to take my Folk Art wax and darken them up with it. And I'm using a baby wipe, so kind of wipe on, wipe off kind of a deal. Once we darken each of those up with the wax, I'm going to take my wood glue for permanent hold, and then we use the hot glue for the immediate hold. And we're going to take the spoon and crisscross it over the fork, just like that, kind of make it an X. Once we get that done, I'm going to bring back our charger and hot glue those down to the charger, which I cut the footage out on that by accident. I'm sorry. But I'm going to take this burlap that I got from, I think, Walmart, and we're going to cut off the ends of each end of the burlap. That way I can fray it and make it look a little bit more rustic. And once I get that cut off, I'll show you what I mean by fraying it. And all you really do is just kind of pick and pull at the ends and it comes apart. At least I think that's why I think I show you it. Yeah, see how I just pick and peel? And I just pick a few of the strings off until it looks. And I do that on both ends. Once I get that done, once I finish that up, I just kind of wrap it around the middle, and we are going to hot glue it on the back to hold that in. Once I get that tacked down, and I burn my finger sus, we're going to flip the charger back to the front. Once I get that taken care of, I'm going to take this ribbon that I got from Temu. It looks like a pair of jeans with stars on them. And I definitely want to get more of these. We're going to place that in the middle of the burlap. They don't give you very much, but there's like 3 different colors of it. You can get it in light, dark, and medium. And I think I got the light. Okay, I'm just gonna, again, just tack that in the middle of our burlap, and we're gonna wrap it around and do the same thing we did with the burlap, and we're just gonna tack it down to the back of the charger. Once we get done tacking down both of the ends to the back of that charger, we're gonna flip our charger back over. And at this point, this is when I decided it was missing a little something something. So I took some more of that nautical rope that I got from Dollar Tree, and I'm going to place this on the inside circle of that charger. And of course, if anybody in the world would want to recreate this, I suggest doing this before you put down the wooden spoons and the ribbon. But like I said, sometimes when you're doing projects, you think of other things as you go along. And I kind of thought of this halfway through, and but it worked out. It was easy to add. Once I get that jute or nautical rope added, I'm going to take more of that jean ribbon and we're going to make a bow. And all I'm going to do is take the ends and hot glue them together, scrunch it in the middle, tie it off with jute. I don't think this turns out very well, but you can all tell me what you think. I think because I used the same ribbon, it just kind of blended in too much and you couldn't really tell there was much of a bow there. But I'm just going to stick this in the middle. Once I get that hot glued in the middle, I'm going to take jute, and I already made this as just a shoestring bow made out of jute. It's a double shoestring bow. And I'm just going to hot glue that into the middle of the other bow. Once I get that hot glued down, and I'm going to take a rustic star that I got from Temu, And I'm just going to hot glue that in the middle of our jute bow and then cut off some of the tails on that jute bow as well. But I also add a hanger on it too, but on the back of the charger, but I don't show that. But this turns out a little too plain. I'm thinking about putting some letters on it that say USA. I'm not for sure. I do that. I will put a picture of it in the back of this video, maybe after the final reveal. But that is it. Let me know what you all think in the comment box below. I think it looks plain. But on to DIY number 3. Okay, we're going to take this pack of stars I got from Dollar Tree. There's a pack of three different sizes. And I am going to take each star. We're going to paint one in the Imperial Red, one in my Antique White, and one in blue, which I do not remember the name of the blue. And then we're going to take hot glue, and we're going to take the middle star, and we're going to hot glue the middle star onto the larger star. And then we're going to take the smaller star and hot glue that onto the middle star. Okay, once I get those all glued in, which I'll have in a minute. And then I had another afterthought, because for some reason my brain was not functioning. I ended up taking my antique wax and putting wax all over it, which it would have been easier to do it before I glued it on, but like I said, afterthought. But I'm just gonna cover it all in wax and kind of antique it up. After that, I ended up taking my sanding block and just kind of sanding it down, kind of toning it down a little bit and blending it in a little bit. This is my second time doing this. The first time I didn't work out very well. The second time I learned this is that I needed to use my hot glue to manipulate the jute that I wrap around the star to get it to lay where I wanted it to lay. This one worked out a lot better. I believe I wrapped it 3 times and hot glued as needed. I don't know if I show it all, and I may go out of frame. I can't remember. It does kind of take me a hot minute to do this, but I eventually get it. It's just wrap and glue. Then again, I take another shoestring bow made out of jute, which seems to be the theme of these 3 projects. And I just tack that into the middle of our star. Okay, once I get that tacked down, I'm going to take one of those rustic stars from Temu and put that in the middle of our jute bow. I'm going to cut some of the tails because they're long. Okay, once I get that finished, this is what we have so far. Oh, I forgot I singe off the little hairs of the jute. But that's what we have so far. And we're not done yet. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little hand drill I have, and I drilled 2 holes into our star. Then I'm going to take some of this wire. I'm not sure the gauge, and I'm not sure where I got it from. It's just something I found in my stash that I've had for a while. But I'm going to stick it through the hole and then take a pencil and kind of curl it. Once I get it curled, I kind of take it and kind of flatten it up against the star to help hold it in. I then take my pencil and I kind of wrap it around the pencil a couple times and kind of curly cue the middle of the wire. And then I take it and I stick it, of course, through the other hole. And I did for the first hole, I do for the second hole, I'll take my pencil and kind of wrap it around the wire and kind of tap it down a little bit, kind of flatten it to hold on the star. Okay, once I get that in there and I curly cue it just like I said before, we're just going to wrap it, kind of twist it, and then I kind of push the wire back through and kind of flatten it there. Once I get done fussing it, this is what we have so far. And no, we are not done yet. We have one more part left. I'm gonna get a tag, and I think I got this from Hobby Lobby. I did trim it down a little bit. I'm gonna take my wax and we are gonna dirty up the tag. Once we get that all covered, we're gonna crumble that and twist it and crumble it again and take it apart and flatten it and crumble it and do it until it looks all old and rustic. Alright, once we get that all crumbled and I continue to crumble, taking out all my frustration out on my tag, I am going to take just a Sharpie and write USA. Okay, once I get that all finally written out in my ugly handwriting. Alright, and then once I get that tag finished, I'm going to take um, my hot glue and I'm just going to stick the tag up under my uh, bow and stick that down. Once I finally get done fussing with that and messing with my bow, I believe that is it for this project. Please let me know in the comment below. Now we're on to our final reveal. Here is all the projects we did today. Please remember to put a comment. I love to hear from you. Also, give me a thumbs up to help YouTube recognize my channel. Um, Thank you for subscribing. I love all my subscribers. I really appreciate it. I really enjoy doing this, and I can only continue to do this with you. So please subscribe, like, and give me a thumbs up. Thanks again for watching.